Why, hello, Lawrence. Welcome to Sibling Rivalry. So Joey has informed me that his bureau does not want to be in the videos ever. So I had to use a different location. Whatever. Alright, so this morning, the batteries in my mouse for my computer were dying. So I asked Joey for some batteries, because that's how things work around here. He came back to me with a handful of batteries. Usually, you see, he has like boxes of batteries. Usually he'll just give me a box of batteries. But this time he gave me a handful of batteries. So I was like, are these batteries used? And he said nothing. So I said, are you kidding me? No, they're not used, but they're gonna cost you $2. So yeah. Okay, so of course I'm not gonna let that go without explaining what that means. For those of you who don't know, I used to ask my dad for batteries all the time because back in the day, before they made the Nintendo DS, there's this thing called a Game Boy, and those required batteries. You couldn't just plug them into the wall. They didn't recharge themselves. So I would ask my dad for batteries all the time for stuff like that, and he would give me batteries and he would just make it really painful. He made me pretty much hate asking him for batteries, and a lot of times he would charge me for the batteries. Not a lot, but you know. Side story. See, I often tell like two stories unrelated and then they meet in the middle, and maybe there's a better way to tell these stories. I don't know. Other story, story B. When I started out at the Z, my first year as an apprentice, I did sound. And at the end of every show, we would have a box of half-used batteries that had been used in the mics. You know, they still had some juice left in them, but obviously we're not going to use them for the show. So the guy that did sound was like, hey, you can take them if you want, whatever, I'm just going to throw them away. So I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever, because I guess my dad might have told me. Maybe I told him that they had all, I don't know. But he wanted those half-used batteries. He thought he could use them for something. You catching my drift here? Anyways, one day my mother told me that my dad was selling me those half-used batteries that I gave him. I gave him half-used batteries and he sold them back to me? I'm not entirely sure that this is true. That happened. And I feel as though it's happening today in the world. I'm sure things like this are happening. So, do you ever find people in your life that remind you of your parents? So, sometimes Joey does stuff like Dad does. Bum bum bum. Oh, why hello. We have a visitor. See? Question for you, brother. What does the socks say? Literally, I bought these socks because they have a fox on them, and I wanted to be able to say, what does the socks say? What does the fox say? And as I contemplated buying these socks, I said to myself, 2 hipster fox socks or not 2 hipster fox socks? That is the question. Lawrence, see you on Friday.